Oh, it's a cool but clear mid-winter's afternoon on the south coast for a game between two teams who share plenty of history. They also share plenty of drama in 2020, don't they, when it comes to their coaches? And while Paul McGregor on screen there having a one last word to his team, is here in charge of the Dragons, Dean Pay has departed the kennel at Belmore, and his former assistant Steve Georgalis is in charge of the clipboard here in Wollongong this afternoon. No changes for the Dragons, the team that was named earlier in the week there. Informed fullback Matt Duffy there. The halves once again, Norman and Clune combined nicely in the second half against the Sea Eagles last week in that big win at Cogra up the road. No changes on their bench also. They've won 3 of 5 blockies since the club gave Paul McGregor the ultimatum. We know Dean Pay fell on his sword, if you like, but he was pushed or shoved out the door at the same token. This man is in charge today. We heard from him in our pre-game show, Steve Georgalis, who found himself in a similar situation at the Panthers all the way back in 2011. We'll see how he fares first up today for the blue and white.
Yeah, it's a big job for Steve Georgalis. Obviously the big change for the Dogs, Dean Pay gone. But they missed 32 tackles last week against the Broncos. They'll have to be a lot better this afternoon. We saw how fleet-footed and fast the Dragons were last week in that game against Manly, 34-4. They won that game of footy. If defence isn't their top priority here this afternoon, the Dogs, and a fast track and a beautiful afternoon, the scoreline could blow out.
They've made a habit of getting off to slow starts in games in 2020, but he's made an immediate change, the new coach, with Lachlan Lewis going into the halfback role today to partner Kieran Foran after Brandon Wakeham has had the number 7 jersey in recent weeks. We'll head out here onto a pristine surface on a lovely afternoon for Rugby League, the first of 3 games on Bundy Rum Super Saturday. The Englishman Luke Thompson on deck for his second game in the NRL, and Josh Jackson all smiles after what has been, as Lachlan Lewis described, a crazy week at Belmore.
Yeah, but as a footy player, just got to get on with the job. There's Lachlan Lewis being brought back into the side after a 4 weeks absence. Good long kicking game, good ability with his 5'8" partner in Kieran Foran. Now 3 try assists for Kieran Foran this year. That's the best.
Change of coach midway through the season. The Dragons continue on with their winning ways in recent times. A kickoff down towards the sideline there, and Lomax had a thought of trying to plant a foot on the line and making the catch. He was just inside it as it turned out. Vaughan, who was very good last week. Big metres for him against the Sea Eagles at Cogra as Hunt from dummy half comes back towards the middle here. Play it through Blake Laurie. Back to the right-hand side for Tyson Frizzell, who spent times on the left and right edges for Paul McGregor in 2020. Hunt looks in his short side, comes to Cam McInnes. Now that he knows Ben Hunt is the full-time dummy half, this man is the permanent 13, you would imagine, the remainder of the season. As Norman puts it high in the air. Kick coming down towards Meany. Lomax, what a catch! Gives it off to Duffy. You can't start in more spectacular fashion than that.
You'll never see a catch like this in the AFL probably. It's a beautiful take. He's a wonderful gifted player, Lomax. They charge down the middle third of the field. The crossfield kick there from Norman. Just have a look at this take above the head. They're all onside. This is an unbelievable take. A full grab there. The pass back inside to Duffy. right on the spot. What an opening to the St George Illawarra side. Look at that for a take. Beautiful pass, skill, catch and pass after the take. Dufty, look at the smile on his face. He can't believe it. What a start to the Dragons.
That's an outrageous catch. On the sprint of a high ball like that, pouring down the field at full speed. Lomax up above his head, makes the catch, gives it off to that man who continues his try-scoring ways in the last 5 weeks. As we just showed you, 4 points to nil, and we barely got underway.
Well, the other thing too was, and you mentioned how difficult the take was above the head, two-handed take, off balance, but the ability to land on the ground and then offload back on the inside, that is just pretty to watch. That'll be in the highlights tapes, don't worry about that. That was great play.
And here he is, the same man who made the catch, Zach Lomax, with a conversion attempt, has really settled in on that right-hand side of the field for the Dragons in 2020. Just a glimpse there as to one of the many reasons they've locked him up for 5 seasons at the Dragons. Plenty of strapping on that left knee, but it didn't stop him getting high in the air. What a moment to begin this game in Wollongong. Lomax and Dufty, 4 tries now in his past 3 games. And the Dragons, yes, if you miss the kickoff, lead 6 points to nil.
Yeah, just pretty to watch too. There was hardly anything you could do about it too. Nick Meaney was caught in no man's land, tried to out-jump Lomax, just couldn't do it. The Doggies kick off again.
Steve Georgialis, welcome back to the world of first-grade coaching. You're down 6-0 and you haven't touched the ball as yet. Remarkable. Now it's Laurie to work it away here for St George Illawarra. He'll play it just inside the Dragons 20 as Hunt from dummy half. Comes out to Adam Clune. Speaking of players looking more and more comfortable. Clune has looked the part in the last couple of weeks. Lovely kick for a try to cap off the big win last week against the Seagulls as Vaughan works down that right-hand side, spins in the tackle here. He will play it on the last, just inside their own 40 as Hunt comes back to Corey Norman. Left boot, hooking it across his body down towards Meaney. No Zach Lomax sitting there to spoil the party for him this time. And the, once again, fullback for the Bulldogs. He's been in this situation a couple of times now through his time in first grade with them over the past couple of seasons, but the #1 jumper today, and they'll play it here through Christian Crichton. Incredible open to this game. Fans still taking their seats, getting comfortable over there on the hill. The few that are allowed, with of course the social distancing in place again today in a limited capacity, and grabbing a pie, cold refreshment. They missed an unbelievable opening. Lewis puts it high in the air. Spiralling kick. Dufty coming forward. Doesn't want to know about it. It bounces and it comes back to Ben Hunt. The Dragons all appealed for a tackle in midair, but the ball boys had already bounced.
Gee,
that was fair game.
That was an awkward kick there from Lachlan Lewis off the side of his boot. I wonder what sort of confidence player he is. The first time the Doggies had the ball, they're up over the halfway line. They go to the right-hand side for his kick. Off the side of the boot. Saints over the halfway line now. It's already a win for them.
It's Frizzell just outside the Bulldogs 40. He'll play it here. Mr. Norman, who was shifted on. Over there on that right-hand side, having kicked from the left-hand side in the previous sets. Down to Norman, who steps off his left. Comes back here, puts it high in the air. Meaney underneath it, makes the catch. Ravalawa, who was in a real mood last week, drilling Seagulls.
He actually broke 2 blokes in half last week, Ravalawa. And there's the first penalty there to the Doggies. Just a little bit more enthusiasm there from this Dragons side. But just watching when they had the ball then to the Dragons, it's a sign of enthusiasm, the way they all push around the ball through the middle third of the field. And they have scored 9 tries down the middle third and 3rd in the league. So they support the ball player good. Now on the halfway line, we see the Dogs.
Little shift off the tap restart here. Meaney against Adam Clune, who stays with him. And some help to make the tackle. The Dogs on the attack for the first time in the game. 5.5 gone. The Dragons by 6 already. Here's Thompson. Played potentially for Marshall King. Tom, and they're tipping on again for Tyler Mariner off the Foran pass. Pass looked to be okay, but the back rower couldn't hang on to it, and all the pressure off the Dragons. And again, the Dogs can do this. They can make a habit of getting off to slow starts in games.
Gee, you've got to concentrate a lot better than that. The pass wasn't that bad. You're right, was that ball should have been taken from Tyler Mariner. The Saints have been given easy field position early in this game. I know they scored straight away, but haven't really had to battle off their own line so far.
Owen comes out to Frizzell. He'll take it across the halfway line as Hunt waits at dummy half. Here's McInnes. Clune now very flat on this left-hand side, so Sims goes back underneath. Second game back from the wrist injury which kept him out of action. And now Hunt try and just wanted to sit down in the in-goal area. He's managed to do it. Meany looks up. He's under all sorts of pressure. And Ben Hunt, following his own kick through, will force a goal line dropout.
Gee, that's an enormous advantage of having an ex-halfback that's now moved into dummy half with a beautiful short kicking game. It's Hunt. Just shows that enthusiasm too. Everyone's on side. First man down on the chase. Great start from the Saints.
Megan Barnard is with us on the sideline this afternoon. Megan, lovely conditions here.
Yeah, they're looking good, aren't they, the Dragons? Was Blocky. Good afternoon to the both of you. A gorgeous day here in Wollongong, and as we know, this town, it's been starved of rugby league since round one, but the fans, boys, back just in time to witness this Red V resurgence. The Dragons, they can find themselves just outside the 8 with a win here today. It's a far cry from the last time these two sides went head-to-head, but the conditions won't have a say. Blue skies, 17 degrees, and barely a breeze about. A perfect day for footy.
It was the Bulldogs who won comfortably back in round 4, 22 points to 2. But here are the Dragons again. Dufty for Aitken! He goes through a hole. They're in again. 2 tries for the Dragons. They lead by 10. And that was just too simple the way it opened up for the Bulldogs.
See, I'm a fan of Aitken. I can tell you 24 tackle busts this season already. It was left out of the side. Look at the gap running here. Just overread it, looked inside. And Aitken is a power runner. Just goes straight in between 2 Bulldogs there. And it was Kieran Foran. Just a little bit of indecision. That's all he needed, Aitken. Great start. It was all from the dummy half kick from Hunt to force the line dropout. But this guy is a powerful runner and gets over the stripe for the Dragons.
Ewan Aitken is a player reborn in the last month or so in this pressure period for Paul McGregor. Put his faith in the left centre. He's repaid that faith. Scored last week in the second half as the Dragons piled on a score in that last 20 minutes of the game against the Sea Eagles. And now Lomax has been striking them beautifully, kicking it over 80% with the boot. In 2020, already converted a try that he set up, helped set up in the 58th second of the game.
Gee, I love afternoon footy. Was hard track, fast track. They scored a fair few points last week, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, against Manly, 34-4. They get the opportunity to really open this Bulldog side up. It was started pretty poorly. It was all from a poor kick downfield. They were starved of possession early. They haven't got into any sort of groove yet.
The breeze into his face as he looks at it. Lomax, it'll just swing away and hit the upright. It stays out, but what an opening for the Dragons, looking for a little bit of revenge today after that 20-point loss back in round 4. Watch it again and enjoy this, you Dragons fans, as Dufty just attracts a bit of attention with his speed. Kieran Foran is looking in, thinking that Dufty might have been on the outside of his man. Foran was going to help out in the tackle. That opened the space for Ewan Aitken. And
stay here, boys.
Just like that, it's a double-figure lead, and the Dogs find themselves in very familiar territory. Vaughan to bring it back. The back of running for 229 metres. 24 carries last week.
Fair effort, fair work rate.
Massive numbers for a front rower, aren't they? As Hunt dummy half takes them on himself. They really have found something with him permanently now in the number 9 after coming off the bench. And initially they made the change. It's the dummy half there off the back of the Brazil run. McInnes going with him, the man that he's taken over the role from. And here they are, off the back of points, inside the 40, still with another play left as Norman puts it in the air. Lomax coming through once again, looking to terrorise Meaney. Didn't quite get there in time this time around. And Meaney will play it just inside his own 20. And working things nicely at the moment, the Dragons. Not to make a mistake, 100% completion rate. Dylan Napa brings it back here beyond the Bulldogs 40. Marshall King waiting at dummy half, play 5. Comes across to Thompson. Taking a strong carry back across the halfway line. And Lewis on this right-hand side, which is interesting. We find the touchline here, and the Dragons will have a scrum feed inside their own 20. He was bubbly in the pre-game, wasn't he, Blocker? Lachlan Lewis playing on the right-hand side, which he said, which is new for him, with Kieran Foran switching over to the left.
It was good to see him bouncing around before the game too. You know, he's a pretty confident young lad, speaks really well. Just looking at Luke Thompson there. Now, he's huge up top, the big pommy. He's very, very slender around the legs. They attacked his legs a couple of times early in this game. So, obviously, they've picked out the Dragons. This guy is a little bit top-heavy, so I'm really intrigued to see how he goes playing for the Bulldogs. And that's only his second game back, or second game in these colours. Really looking forward to seeing him play.
At the moment, he's lining up defensively as the Dragons work it away from their own end. And Lomax, he will play it at his own 20. Hunt from dummy half. Comes to Vaughan, runs towards Jackson and Thompson. Lewis is also there. Clune wants it on the left-hand side. Hunt now goes back towards the middle for Blake Laurie. Puts up his hand. Good effort there by Tyler Mariner in particular. Now Hunt out of dummy half. Gets an offload away. Clune immediately goes to Vaughan. Boy, there were numbers out here in his left-hand side. They used the ball there, but Vaughan hangs on to it. They had a 2-man overlap. Norman stepping back inside Lewis. Grubbers in behind them. The ball takes an awkward bounce. Norman comes up with it, and he was tackled while he was on the ground on the last.
See a little bit of indecision there to dive on the loose ball there. The little chip over the top, something different there from Corey Norman. Well, just having a look there at the centre three-quarter in Kieran Holland. Those sort of loose balls, I know it bounced back a little bit, but you've got to win that ball. You've got to get onto that football.
A few games back now for Holland after a rib injury. Didn't play last week.
Let go, Cameron.
On his right-hand side and under pressure, as we've seen already today. Here's Foran at the line for Tyler Mariner. Legs tackle there from McInnes with Frizzell over the top. Now Tolman will find Lewis. Goes to Jackson back on the inside for Meaney, but into the clutches of Tarek Sims, looking to get the arms free and offload, but he hangs on to it. Last play here. Marshall King dancing, finds Lewis. Grubber picked up here by Corey Norman. Now there's an issue. Lomax has Ravalawa on his outside. Meaney, a real sprinter, is there with him and drags him down just outside the Bulldogs 30.
What a great tackle there, and chased by Meaney. He's a hard man to tackle. They spread out the left-hand side now, the Dragons.
McInnes cuts out one. It goes to Aitken. The Dogs have numbered up well, getting there Josh Jackson. What a big play to make the tackle. A try-saver. Clune comes back to the middle here for McInnes. Steps off the right foot away from Thompson. Plays it quickly, though. Hunt is there. It'll be a penalty. Lachlan Lewis being caught in the play the ball and not rolling away.
Yeah, you're right there, Was. You've got to make some attempt to roll away. It was a quick play the ball from McInnes. Hope they take the tap here, keep the power on, the pressure. They've run 80 metres downfield here. The Saints will take the tap.
And they do take the tap. Looking at 4, if not 6 points right here, ignoring the chance for 2. We're pretty much right in front. Hunt goes to Vaughan, out the back for Hunt once again. Here's Clune, Sims into a hole, he put it down. Holland jamming in with some good contact.
No advantage.
And Tarek Sims unable to hang on to it.
Yeah, that was well done there by Kieran Holland. He was a little bit passive after they scored their second try, the Dragons. This time, he just comes in and makes a pressure tackle. There's the run downfield here. Lomax with the pass on the outside to Ravalawa. And that's a great tackle there. Just hung on beautifully. Nick Meaney has been good under the high ball. Didn't really get the first attempt on that first try. They've really peppered him here this afternoon. That's a great tackle.
He was just cruising, wasn't he? Meaney in second gear there, just ambled up to him, and he always had Ravalawa covered for speed. Foran from dummy half finds Crichton coming in for a carry. He does well. Also taking it beyond the 20. Marshall King into that left-hand side, takes them on his own. Meaney will get in to do the duties from dummy half. Tolman, Lewis, comes out to Jackson, running towards Adam Clune. A little bit of claret now, flowing maybe from a gash just in his hairline there for the halfback. Tolman works it forward. Comes to Lewis, who again will just look towards the sideline, and again they'll do it over with a scrum. The Dragons inside their own 20.
And just have a look at the pressure that Hunt puts on too. Lewis, that's a good kick downfield. They need a little bit of a breather, get a little bit of field position. But look at Hunt out of dummy half or marker, putting the pressure on. Just those little things you need to do. He's done it so well. He made 51 tackles last week in that middle third of the field. So he's a tough little nugget and started the game well.
He has been a very good defender in his time in the NRL, playing game number 30 here today, having made his debut back in 2018. Saab comes in, the 19-year-old, a taller player on the field. We know what he can do under the high ball as well, as Ravalawa follows suit. And he'll play it 20 metres out. Don't forget, game one this is of 3 right here on Bundy Rum Super Saturday. South up against Newcastle, the Bunnies and the Knights. That is up next at 5:30. Aidan Guerra's 200th game. Wayne Bennett against one of his old clubs, 850th game as coach as well. And that one followed by Manly and Para after a blockbuster between the two of them at Bankwest not that long ago. Controversial ending first time around with a talked about forward pass. As Hunt out of dummy half will kick down here for Crichton. Little juggle, gets back to clean it up. And we'll bring it back, fends away from Lomax. Ravalawa reaching out, got a piece of him. Andy work from Crichton to bring it back beyond the Bulldogs' 10. Reaching out there, Ravalawa, who, as you mentioned, blocking, was on a mission last week, cleaned up Cade Cuss, Brad Parker, George Tafua.
Ewan, let go!
Return serve on the Tafua, the skewer himself.
I reckon he might have got a few on the way home too. Is in that sort of form?
Might have been. Anybody who's standing around waiting for a coffee, look out. He was in that sort of mood, wasn't he, last week? Enormous effort. A player who just re-signed with the club not that long ago for another 3 seasons. Foran here. His own side of halfway. It'll go down in behind Ravalawa, waiting, hoping that it will go dead. He has to play at it. Now he's under pressure. Good tackle by Marcelo Montoya. And they forced a goal line dropout.
Yeah, he was just praying for that ball to go dead in goal. They went to the other side of the field that time to Foran to the left-hand side. It's a beautifully placed kick. I reckon the coach will have a little bit of a talk to Ravalawa about a little bit more urgency at the back there. And a great chase to Montoya. One-on-one tackle. Forces the line dropout now to the Saints.
Let's go, Corey.
Backing himself there that was going dead. Well-weighted kick. Norman with the goal line dropout. See what the Dogs can offer here. They've had a couple of chances. No points to speak of as yet. Napa bringing it back.
Let go, Blake.
Play it just inside the Dragons 30. Set of 6 off the back of the dropout. Tolman working it forward and make it another set. And we'll restart here. Dragons indiscretion there in the tackle. Foran for Jackson. Almost through the tackle of Clune. Vaughan helping out from the inside. Sims was also there. Width now for Lewis. Foran set upon by Norman. He had to get up there and stick. He was able to do that, grabbing a handful of jumper. Big tackle by the 5'8". Marshall King comes back to Tolman. Nice work it. They burn a play right there. Still a couple left in their set. Marshall King says, I don't need any more. I'll dive in right now and score. Henry Perenara wants to confirm something though, and he says no try.
Can you just confirm there's no obstruction there? If we have no obstruction, I have a penalty for Blake Laurie being offside at marker.
What you got to do is have a look at the markers here and the first defender, how wide he is. It's good recognition that time there from Marshall King. Just ducks under the second marker's chase. Do like it when he does run from dummy half. He's got plenty of speed out of that area. That was pretty close to the line, but
cleared any possible obstruction in the lead up.
Henry Perenara
Marshall King grounds the ball and in goal.
He thought maybe there was a suggestion that Marshall King burrowed through the legs of Aidan Tolman, but he cleared him comfortably. As you saw, Laurie was way offside on the other side of the ruck at marker. Green lights for Jeremy Marshall King.
Well, that just invites you to run from dummy half when you look up and you see McGuinness. Have a look how wide he is. It's the second man's tackle to make it, the second marker, I mean. He goes, looks one way, just went back on the inside shoulder. The Bulldogs score a try. Good on them. They've done it tough early in this game. As far as field position goes, they've got down there for the second time. And Marshall King gets over the stripe.
Here's a good story as well. Go back to the beginning of the 2019 season. He didn't think he was going to be playing any first grade rugby league. He was looking at a site, a demolition job. Going to put the high vis and the hard hat on.
The sledgehammer.
It was going to be all over as far as first grade rugby league was concerned, but he trained well in the pre-season with the Bulldogs, got a chance, and was picked in round 1 for the season opener over in Perth. He hasn't looked backwards from that point on, and he scores a big try here to get the Dogs on the board today.
Well, it doesn't look that bad if he throws this one over. 10 points to 6. After they've been dominated early in this game, they've clawed their way back in, the Dogs. Only 4 behind.
10 points to 6 after a blistering opening by the Dragons with 2 tries in the opening 9 minutes. Of course, when it comes to mental health, supporting your mates is important, whether it's on or off the field. If you see a mate having a tough time, don't stay on the sideline. For tips on how to reach out, visit nrl.com/state of mind. Corey Norman with the restart. They'll hang on the breeze there, and Dylan Napa to bring it back here. We've got a game. Just short of that here in Wollongong. The Bulldogs heading back. Jeremy Marshall King.
Release now.
Older half-brother, Benji. Wow, the game last night for the Tigers and that big win at Leichhardt Blocky against the Broncos.
Great to see him back. He's an attacking genius, Benji.
Here's Thompson playing for the try scorer, Tolman, looking at beyond the 40. A couple of composing kicks by Lachlan Lewis to force the Dragons to work it away from inside their own 20. They just got themselves back into the old arm wrestle. The kick here, finding touch just outside the 20. And again, they take it out of play, use up some time on the clock, make the Dragons work it away from a set play situation.
Yeah, they swapped the kickers over at the moment. They started at the start of the game with Lachlan Lewis. As I said, the first couple come off the side of his boot. Now they've gone to that left-hand side to the experienced Kieran Foran. His last 2 kicks have been excellent. One was trapped in the in-goal area. He's putting his arm up at the moment. A little bit of a foot problem by the look of it. He's had those sort of problems over the years too. Just starting to get in the swing of things for him.
That's right.
Oh, this would be a mini disaster for the Bulldogs. If he was to suffer a recurrence of the injuries he's had in recent times, and they're feeling around that toe area. And as you mentioned, Blocky, he has had issues with that sort of injury in the recent past.
After the shot.
Tell you what, there's nothing worse than getting stamped on the foot in that area. This looks like what happens here. He's sort of clipped his little toe by the look of it. Very painful. And that, only a little bit of skin around all those bones. That hurts.
He's going to come from the field. This is an issue. Toe surgery recently, ankle surgery as well, 3 shoulder reconstructions. The third of those was the end of the 2019 season, where he suffered that dislocated shoulder playing for the Kiwis. Just a little word with Tony Ayoub, long-time physio with the Bulldogs, also the Melbourne Storm in the NRL also. Maybe just maybe a little bit of reassurance he needs. We'll let you see what the word is from the Dogs and Kieran Foran. He's taking them through exactly what happened here. Megan Barnard is right on the spot down there. We might be able to bring some news in regards to Kieran Foran and the Bulldogs physios in a few moments' time. As for the moment, McInnes works it away, but can't take a trick, can they? Who's missed almost half the games he's been available for since coming back to the Bulldogs. And here he is with an injury once again. Let's go downstairs to Megan, in fact.
Yeah, it was the reason Kieran Foran's come off is purely down to that time-wasting rule, I've been told. So expecting back on at the end of this set.
He looked pretty comfortable when he came back in the way he was talking with Tony Ayoub there. Now a mistake by the Dragons. But perhaps it was just a little bit of reassurance he needed from the medical staff, and you would imagine he'll be back on the moment he's able to once his scrum is set in motion.
He just jogged back onto the field and then jogged back off. So Tuamunga there warming up. I think he's going to sit back down. He's getting himself ready.
I guess the all clear now to take his place back to make it 13 on 13. So they avoid making a change there and keep an interchange up their sleeve, the Bulldogs, with that little scare for Kieran Foran. But in a moment for him, he thinks, oh, here we go again. He had that toe surgery in the past.
He probably knows exactly what it feels like, so he's probably felt something there and thought, hello, I've done this again. Fortunate for the doggies and himself, he's back out there and he's a tough character.
By Taylor Mariner. Bulldogs trailing by just the 4. 15 out from half-time. There's Luke Thompson. Somebody lost the mouth guard there as he played the ball. It was Thompson, in fact. Now Foran down the short side. Montoya. They'll play it. 25 out on the Dragons line. Last tackle, Foran puts it in the air. A chance out wide for Holland, who is thereabouts. So is Saab. Puts it down. 6 more plays here for the Bulldogs.
I think it's Josh Jackson that cleans that up too. He thought about throwing the ball over the top. He did well to take the tackle.
Ran off to Tuamunga is out there. He'll play it. Marshall King again from dummy half. Goes close to scoring. This time they roll him onto his back. He almost surprised them once again.
Well, he's keeping them interested, isn't he? From dummy half, Marshall King. Thought he'd have another go at it. Gee, did well not to throw that ball over the top when he regathered it. Josh Jackson. Look at the 6 again. 10 metres out now, right in the middle of the park. Let's see what they can come up with.
Thompson with the carry. They'll play it. 6 more tackles coming up. Lachlan Lewis with Tuamunga standing in the tackle there and comes down almost on top of the goal line himself. Marshall King finds Tom, and here's Lachlan Lewis. Cut-out ball straight out to Dylan Lateza-Lesniak, who hasn't had too many chances so far in the game. Holland fires it back through Lewis. Comes to Tolman, who takes it towards the uprights. It'll be a penalty this time for the Dragons being offside. And 6 more plays coming up here for the visitors.
Well, gee, they've got themselves right back into this game, haven't they? There's Thompson, good charge.
Just launching himself there at McInnes and also Laurie. Quick play the ball. It comes to Lachlan Lewis, Tuamunga. Bit of confidence about their ball movement now, Canterbury. Marshall King looking to his right-hand side. Comes to Tolman, who had a look himself, puts it down, and Dufty on the counter-attack was just about away. When he was thereabouts, it would have been a great match race between the two of them, but there is Tolman again, a little look perhaps. They look dangerous with the ball in those repeat sets on top of the line as Tarek Sims works it away. Comes towards Josh Jackson there, brings it back to the halfway line, and now with Trent Merritt. A little shuffle as he comes towards the defensive line, met by Tolman and also Marshall King. McInnes gives it off to Norman. Out the back, the pass goes to ground. Ravalawa. Bring it back towards the midfield. Runs to Marshall King, who had his hands full, didn't he?
I'll tell you what, you've got to put yourself in front of him, Ravalawa. If he's running the ball, no good arm grabbing.
Josh Kerr is also out there. He'll play it here for Hunt. Clune will put it up in the air. Jason Saab up against Wateni Zalesniak. Two athletes there. Saab came down with it, kept it in play. Tapped back by Sims.
Knocked it on in the Bulldogs play. It's a changeover.
I was saying there was a little knock on by Jason Saab in trying to get the ball back in play, and Paul McGregor is mystified.
Geez, he's a good target. He's improved out of sight, the young halfback too, Clune. Beautifully placed. Ball back inside. I'm just looking for the knock on there. There's no knock on.
Yeah, let's have a look here. Ball comes free. And just there, touches the head of Wateni Zalesniak.
I take it back. I was wrong.
Good call.
I'm not like Fonzie.
Oh, the officials in bright yellow here today. You'll leather jacket though, I know that much. Here's Vaitala Merritt. Now Foran. Numbers down the short side here. Nice little raid like that does the Foz, not the Fonz. Here he's at first receiver. Thompson charging hard. Had plenty of that in recent seasons with St Helens in the Super League. He plays it now for Marshall King. Foran, flat ball there for Faitala Mariner. With that green light from Casey Badger, the sideline official on the Tasman Sea side of Wynn Stadium. Lewis, as calm as ever, puts it high in the air. Saab coming forward. Dufty was there. He might have knocked it on. It will be a Dragons knock on, and the Bulldogs stay on the attack.
See, there lies the little problem for the Saints with Dufty at the back. He's only a short bloke. He always has a go, but he's got traffic around him.
Do you need a doctor on the field?
He gets out jumped plenty of times, not because of ability, just because of his size. So that's good pressure there from the Dogs. It's amazing when you lead 10 points to nil, your mind sort of goes off it when it's been so comfortable for the Saints real early in this game to score those 2 tries. The concentration's gone away a little bit. Great start to the game from Vaughan. 91 metres from the big front rower to start the game. That's a great effort.
Tyson Frizzell slowly walking over to form this scrum. The Bulldogs, of the last 12 sets in the game, they've had 10 of them.
Let's go.
Here they are again, for a chance to either level up or potentially take the lead. Lewis with the scrum feed. Marshall King at the back. Here's Foran out the back. A chance for Meaney. He'll paw through a gap. Nick Meaney dives in. The Bulldogs have levelled from a scrum set in the middle of the field. The best attacking play in the game in 2020.
You can't buy pace, can you? Watch the way Mick Meaney comes onto the ball here. It was the 5'8" that got up. Norman got up in front of his players. You can't do that. You've got to go up together. Looked like a little bit of lack of talk there. Ravalawa caught in 2 places, in 2 minds. And Meaney with the speed gets on the outside of his man. And the Bulldogs, after a poor start, gee, they showed some character to get back into this game.
They had the fullback job in the first half of last season. Spent all season up until now playing on the left wing. It's the #1 jumper today. It makes an immediate impact in the fullback role off the back of the scrum. And again, a team takes a scrum feed to that middle part of the field. Had the option of having it from anywhere, but from close range. Split the field in 2 and really allow the speed of Meaney to go at the Dragons' right edge defence, and they opened up pretty easily. Chance here to convert his own try, and amazingly, given the incredible opening to the game, with the Dragons scoring in the 58th second of the game, fastest try scored by any team in 2020. They've had 10 points to nil giving pace with the clock at that stage. And now Meany draws it back. It goes over the black dots, and the Bulldogs lead the Dragons. Let's recap what we've seen, Blocky, in the first half hour. What a catch by Lomax for Duffy to score.
Yeah, the ability just to stand in the tackle and offload. And there's Aiken, the second try there for the Dragons. That was a great run, nice hole running. And here's the third one, and that's the first one here from Meany to score that try after the dummy half run from the hooker for the Bulldogs, and Jerry Marshall-King. He scored the one before, and then Meany with speed puts the Bulldogs right back in it. What a game we've got on our hands.
The old sack the coach bounce. Is that what they're talking about here today? It's a bit of a myth. The teams always bounce back and tend to win in the game after a coach has left the club. Most teams want to lose that game as opposed to win it, but there's been some high-profile ones over the years, and we might be about to see one here today, with the Bulldogs leading the Dragons 12 points to 10, looking for just their second win of the season. Lewis with the kick down that side of the field. It goes to Duffy to try and bring it back in the in-goal area here. He meets them. They'll drag him back. He's fair game, and they take him back to force another dropout. The Bulldogs are producing a blitzkrieg.
That's an unbelievable chase there from the Bulldogs after points have been scored. 4 men get down there, and I'm not surprised the captain's there. Josh Jackson, what a player he is. They hold up Duffy, it is here. Look at the sprint through. They hold him up. Great play here from the Bulldogs. And where's the fullback?
Quick restart, nobody at home. The Bulldogs didn't have time to recover. The Dragons catch them out. And as a consequence, Wateni Zelezniak will be tackled here on play one on his own side of halfway. Heads up, quick dropout by the Dragons. The Bulldogs with the upper hand here on the attack once again. Marshall-King finds Aidan Tolman. Brings in another carry. Make it 10 now for the game, and a set restart. They do get a full set from close range.
It's going to be interesting to see how they are through the middle. Trent Merrin and Josh Kerr. It's a double change for the Dragons. Let's see how their middles hold up now.
A pass there from Tolman for Thompson. That was okay, though. Now Faitala Mariner pouring through. He goes in. Try number 3 for the Bulldogs. And they're killing them suddenly.
Yeah, in the middle. I was just wondering if they made that double change after a great start from Vaughan. How they hold up. You shouldn't be able to score there. Duffy it was that got run straight over the top of. After a good kick chase, you can just put that down to the kick chase after points were scored. The Dogs have put the pressure on, and they are showing plenty of courage here. The Taylor Mariner is over for the try for the Dogs, and they are full of running.
He came into this game as one of 6 players in the 17 today off contract, and knowing that nothing is certain at Belmore ahead of the 2021 season. New coach to be named at some stage in perhaps the very near future. Faitala Mariner is one of those players off contract at the end of this season. What is shown here today for that man, Steve Georgialis, who suddenly is thinking, boy, his first grade coaching caper isn't all that bad after he had a minor taste of it. He took over from Matthew Elliott at the Panthers back midway through the 2011 season and won 3 of his first 4 games. After taking over from Matt Elliott, they only won 1 of their last 7 before Ivan Cleary rejoined the club to be the full-time coach from 2012 onwards through to 2015. But Steve Georgialis back in charge and in front here today against the Dragons. Meany converts. What an amazing game this is. 18 points to 10. 3 straight tries to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, just on Faitala Mariner, just the way that he runs onto the football, there's no looking at see what he's going to do. He try and run over the top of you. There was 3 or 4 Saints players that didn't get off their line. That is a great try. Gee, they're full of running now. They're exciting to watch, the Bulldogs. It's amazing what a little bit of enthusiasm can do after a slow start. The Dogs are in front, 18-10.
Restart goes down to Lachlan Lewis. Went off to Amunga, will bring it back. The Bulldogs forward pack has certainly been on top of the Dragons in the last 15 minutes of game time here. With Taniza Lesniak, don't forget it, half-time, just on 5 minutes away. Bonnie and the boys to recap what has happened here. And boy, there's a bit to talk about. 5 tries in the game so far. One of the tries of the season. Inside the first minute, and the Bulldogs, their backs to the wall. 1-8 record coming into today, but their one win is back against this team in round 4, 22 points to 2, and here they are on top, 18-10 once again. Lewis to kick from his own side of halfway. Go down to Ravalawa. See what the Dragons can offer with the ball in their hands. They've had so little of the ball in the last 15 minutes. It's been one-sided possession. An extreme amount of Saab under pressure here. They're fresh. They're coming off their line quickly here. Saab going nowhere. Aitken looks up. Barely 4 or 5 minutes available there before they take him down. And that is tackle number 3. Here's Kerr doing some stepping and getting the Dragons going in the right direction. Here's Merritt finding Adam Clune. Going to put the foot down. Well handled though by Lachlan Lewis and Kerrod Holland. Last play, they're out near the sideline. Hunt, a flat ball. Norman ran behind his own man. It could have been construed an obstruction there. Did a full 360, got away with it. The kick goes down to Nick Meaney. They got themselves lost, and part of the reason was it was play 5 and they were out there stuck on the sideline, and Norman was a sitting duck.
Yeah, it was a good chase through too. That's been a highlight the last 10 minutes of the Doggies. Their kick chase and also the pressure they've been able to put on the kickers. That kick didn't go far. Second tackle now. The Bulldogs are up over the halfway line. Here they go. They're full of running. Straight through the middle again.
Faitala Mariner. The most recent try scorers. Lachlan Lewis finds Foran. Jackson going with him. Something to stop there for Clune and also Aitken. He takes it inside the 20. Play 5 right here. It's the last, in fact, as Perinara puts a hand in the air. Chance from Montoya. I don't know the Bulldogs realised it was the last play. Lewis taps it backwards. Faitala Mariner comes back to Meaney. He'll kick for himself because everybody else was in front of him. And then Saab will lope his way back to play it here just inside the 20.
Now Kieran Foran will go straight to the head bin. Tariq Sims gets him with a perler. He digs into the line. Watch this. Now that's late. Ooh. And with the shoulder. I reckon we might hear a bit more about that.
I think you're right. No question it was very late. And the point of the shoulder struck this man, Kieran Foran, on the side of the head. Well, 2.5 out from half-time. But having the advice, of course, from the bunker, having had a look at that replay themselves, it would be a massive surprise if this was anything other than a penalty to the Bulldogs.
It'll be put on report too, I reckon. We might even get in the bin here. It's pretty late. As I mentioned before, Foran, he's that tough. He digs into the line. I love it. Dancing in the valley of death. He loves it.
Yes.
Off the field for the second time in the first half.
It's on report. It's high contact on Tariq Sims. Okay. It's a penalty back out. Thank you. Thank you.
Tariq Sims, not much of a case to mount there. A bit of a no-brainer, wasn't it, as far as what happened? Obvious call for the boys back in the bunker.
It's an argument for another day. I've talked about it for a long time, was when a player gets injured and taken off for foul play and the other bloke stays on the field.
He's the captain.
Well, there is the option, of course, of using the sin bin there in that foul play situation. Steve Georgiades, I don't know if he made the call to take the 2, but I'll use some time on the clock here while Foran is off the field just before half-time. And that angle there maybe suggested more, it was maybe more of the chest as opposed to the shoulder. That might help out Tariq Sims in the long run, but in the short term, it's going to cost them potentially here 2 points. The contact was certainly late either way.
It was high too. That's a problem. It always looks worse too in the slow motion, doesn't it? But if you see it at fast pace, it would have been hard for him to pull out, but you still can't hit anyone high.
From just beside the uprights and about 25 metres out, Nick Meaney, who is perfect with the boot.
So the other thing with the kickers too, the coaches always say, make sure he gets off the ground after he kicks. Don't go in high. They don't mean to go in high, but they mean make him get off the ground, put him on the ground so he can't chase.
There's been a clamp down, though, in recent times as to just how late you can get there. Meaney's attempt is good, and it's a 10-point lead. 20 straight points for the Bulldogs after they were down by 10 after 10 minutes. And here we are inside the final few seconds of this first half, and they trail now the Dragons 20 points to 10. Incredible.
They've showed energy, haven't they? I mean, where has this been for the Doggies? I know the change at Coach Dean Pay, I've got to admit, great mate of mine, and I thought he did a good job with the Doggies of what he had, but where's this energy been?
Steve Georgianis might be thinking, where are the muffins? I might do a Freddie and just sit back and eat a muffin during the second half. I'm doing it that comfortably at the moment. Now I'm going to bring it back. And for the Dragons, got themselves back within sight of the top 8, having won 3 of their last 5. Here they are, down by 10.
Let go. Wait.
Now Jackson working it beyond the 30. Time for one more play here. A little shift maybe from inside their own half. Katoa out there. And that will be the siren. At the break, Steve Georgianis, taken over from Dean Pay on Tuesday at Belmore. They're barking in the kennel because at the break they lead the Dragons 20 points to 10. What an opening. The first of 3 games on Bundy Rum Super Saturday. A remarkable turn of events after the Dragons dominated the first 10 minutes of the game. And Steve Georgianis, we have plenty to say, but boy, it'll be all positive when he gets to the sheds in a moment. They lead here in Wollongong comfortably over the Dragons. And the teams come back out here for the second half in just a few moments. But they were well on top in every capacity at the stroke of half-time, weren't they, Blocky?
Yeah, it was. I reckon it's all about the effort. 7 missed tackles in that first half from the Bulldogs. A big improvement from last week. They missed 32 in that whole game. So it's amazing what a little bit of a spark. They were behind 10 points to 0. Got that little bit of a spark. I think it turned over when we saw Corey Norman chipping in his own half. Not a go. It looked like the coach was into him at half-time too.
Here is Kieran Foran. He won't be starting the second half. Had that injury to the toe when he was trodden on, having had toe surgery. Kept him out of action for some time. As we mentioned, he's played just barely more than half of the games that he could have played since signing with the Bulldogs here in season 3 now. Off contract at the end of 2020. And Corey Norman, Adam Clune, Ben Hunt, a triangle in the middle of the field as far as their attack is concerned. You throw Dufty into the mix, who certainly has been their most potent attacker in recent times. They've got some points in them, but we'll see what they can produce here in front of the home fans in Wollongong today. Having already been beaten once this year, the Bulldogs' only win back in round 4 was against the Dragons. Can they fare here? Can they hang on to this lead in the second half as Tuamunga plays it now? Comes to Josh Jackson, who works it up towards the 40.
Just quickly, Kieran Foran has passed his HIA. He'll be back on shortly.
Thanks, Megan. Megan Barnard on the sideline again here today. And Kieran Foran gets the green light to be back out there sooner rather than later. Luke Thompson. Playing for Sione Katoa out there at dummy half, and Jeremy Marshall-King. Lewis puts it high in the air. They had their issues under the high ball at the back end of that first half, the Dragons. Failed to clean up one of them, which led directly to a Bulldogs try. And now Ravalawa to work it away and almost get away. Katoa grabbed him only just for the moment. Kieran Foran, along with Aidan Tolman, will have a nice warm jacket and take a seat to watch on Guarantee he won't be in the sideline for that much longer. Saab plays it here. Here's McInnes. Always putting his hand up for a carry. Going for 53 metres on 6 carries in that first half. Trent Merrin. And almost a Bronx cheer for the referee as the Dragons get a restart here. On the wrong end of that count in the first half, to the tune of 3-0. The Bulldogs had the better of the restarts in the opening 40. Now comes to Frizzell. They're also behind 4-1 in the penalties, the Dragons. Clune to the left-hand side. Takes Sims with him, standing there in the tackle of Marshall King. They'll play it there. Hunts turning Trent Merrin back underneath him. Things away from Tuamunga, pops the ball out the back. Hunt goes to Josh Kerr. He has them under pressure by Taylor Mariner. Needed some help. He got some from Lachlan Lewis and also Napa. He's only a half a metre out. Hunt's spinning back to the left-hand side through McInnes. Comes to Clune, puts a grubber in. Marshall King filling in for Kieran Foran on that right-hand side. Has to get back and take it dead.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how just a little offload there from Trent Merrin in the middle third of the field, just the flick out the back, puts pressure on the defence. They did so well. And there's the end of the set there with the grubber kick from Clune. Good chase through by Aitken. It's the first force line dropout of the second half. Just interested to see how the Bulldogs go without Kieran Foran. They all love playing with him. It's a type of player that gives them energy. I don't think he'll be on the sideline for too long.
Terrific drop out here and going all the way back inside his own 40. Trent Merrin has to look around and then wind up, and the Dragons did something similar towards the end of the first half. The Bulldogs surprised the Dragons this time around. Kerr will bring it up here to play it just outside the Bulldogs 30. McInnes finding Clune. Dufty on that edge, so dangerous, his speed. Too much there for Marshall King, who got a piece of him. He gets back to his feet though, Dufty. He takes him inside the 10. What a weapon he is. Now Aitken. And he held up a metre out from the Bulldogs line. A couple of plays left in this set. Clune was deep. He finds Hunt. Gives it to McInnes. Not much happening there in the middle of the field, so he bounces away from Tuamunga. Comes back to Josh Kerr. He'll take a carry and get him to ground, with the Dragons having one more here. 5 metres out. It's McInnes. Is on his outside. Norman sweeping. Can't get it through the line. Good work by Lachlan Lewis to extend the boot and stop that getting in behind the Bulldogs. And as a result, Montoya plays it there.
Gee, I'd like to see Corey Norman run the football. 0 runs in the first half. A couple of ordinary kicks. That was one to start the second half there. We know what ability and talent he's got, but you can't just sit back and wait for the kick.
Here is Utani Zalesnia. He is great at this end of the field with his strong carries, but the propensity, especially again last week in that losing effort to the Broncos, coughing up a ball, trying to get an offload away. But today, so far, so good. Katoa finds Lewis from just outside the 40. Contact from Hunt, pushing out from Marker was okay. Dufty links up with Saab. Sees a good straight chase line from the Bulldogs across the field there, and they wrap him up inside the Dragons 30. No change for the opening 5 minutes of this second half between the Dragons and the Dogs. Don't forget the Rabbitohs and the Knights to follow this game at 5:30 on Super Saturday. And then the Eels and the Seagulls. Second time this season, those two have met. Set restart here. Just wants a forward to take a carry and finds Josh Kerr obliging. There's Merrin. There's McInnes going with him. Look at the outside there. Montoya, but was able to stick with Lewis helping out. They've got tackles to play with here from pretty good field position. Dufty bounces away from Katoa. Skips to the outside of Marshall King. Good contact from Holland. It's a matchup they would like, the Dragons, with Marshall King defending out there, 3 in from the touchline. Before and still off the field. Kerr back towards the uprights, looking for an offload. They'll take it to ground. Play 5 here. Goes to Merrin, finds Hunt. They numbered up well again. A kick here for Saab, an awkward bouncing ball. It bounced off Saab, and it looked like it might have been first off a knock on by the Dragons.
Yeah, it looked like he got there beautifully, didn't it, Saab? He's got some pace, the big man. Beautiful grubber kick in and behind.
Left side kick chase of the Dragons is cleared as being onside.
They're all onside. That's a beautifully placed kick. Just the bounce of the ball, the last bounce here. As he's going for it, both players going for the ball. Loses on the way down. Lesniak there, putting all sorts of pressure. I think he does get a hand on the ball here. Knocked on into the
ball is knocked back initially by the Bulldogs. Then we've got a knock on in the end goal from Jason Saab. We have a decision.
Jared Maxwell in the bunker today on top of things. No trouble with a clear call right there, or red lights for the Dragons.
Okay, so it's a 20-metre restart.
Cam McInnes arguing the toss.
It's amazing when just that bounce of the ball, you see it so often go your way. Lesniak did so well there to get across and put the pressure on. Look at this grubber kick. Perfectly placed.
You heard from Jared Maxwell, happy that the contact with the arm there of Lesniak was backwards. And then Saab knocking it on as Thompson puts the foot down. Real speed about his carries here today. He was noted for that. His play with St Helens and also England, and now a mistake by Fatala Mariner gives the Dragons a chance to come right back at them. Instead, a delayed call here on the advice of the touch judge. It's going to be offside against the Dragons on this right edge of the field.
Just have a look at it again there. Well, didn't go back far enough there. Gee, that's a good start here for the Bulldogs to get that penalty right on the halfway line, put themselves in the attack again. No points in the second half so far, 20-10, but what a position this is. They look like they dodged a bullet there.
There's a stack of time remaining in this game. Bulldogs score right here. They haven't found touch. How do you do that? Lachlan Lewis biting off too much with his kick for line, and good work by the Dragons to keep it in the field of play. Remarkable.
Well, you've got one job, and that's to find touch. Gee, he did well too to get the ball back in field there. Dufty again it was.
Instead of being on the attack 10 metres out from the line, here are the Dragons working it away, and Clune with the clearing kick coming across, meaning plenty of speed. Awkward bounce, handled it well. Saab though tearing down the field on that far side, got to him, stopped him 5 metres out. Now it's Henny Lesniak puts Crichton under pressure, but they did well. Montoya now trying to get away from Frizzell. Boy, they took a chance there. They get away with it, but they could have easily coughed it up or thrown an intercept. The Dragons pouring down the field.
I don't know how the coach would have been sitting in the box there after the kick downfield, and they spread the ball on their own goal line. Still trying to force the issue here, the Dogs.
So Aso Su is out there now for the Bulldogs, an offload which had them under pressure, and again Montoya is wrapped up here. Napa works it away from the side. So they've got one play left. Here's Lewis with that left boot. Wobbly old attempt at a spiral, or a bounce and sit up here for Zach Lomax, who would bring it back. So a couple of dicey kicks from the Bulldogs, and the Dragons have good field position to begin this set.
Well, just watching Cameron McInnes, the captain of the Dragons, his footwork in the middle of the ruck. If he can get a quick play the ball, he's going to cause a little bit of damage there. He's run so well in this game so far.
Here's Clune down to the line, stopped there by Marshall King, so he comes back to the middle. Merrin spinning in the tackle of Katoa. Former Panther locks him up at the 30. Norman for Clune, wrapping to the right-hand side. Frizzell's there, defending the face of Lachlan Lewis, who stays with him. Good effort by the halfback. Last play here for St George Illawarra. Clune, a kick across the field. Watene-Zelezniak underneath it. Saab, though, beat him to the ball, but Watene-Zelezniak able to wrap him up and force the changeover.
And steals it on the way down too. It's a good contest out there. Lesniak again. Beautiful kick there from Clune. Look at that for pinpoint. Saab gets the first bite of it. Lesniak tackles him on the way down.
A toe back on the ground, according to the referee, hence no whistle for a tackle in mid-air as Katoa plays it. Almini out of dummy half. Lomax caught midfield, making a tackle. Lasso Sue. Here just inside the Bulldogs 30. Still no change to our halftime scoreline through the opening 10 of this second half. It will bounce down to Dufty. Brings it back. He was spectacular last week. And he scored one of the more spectacular tries of the season. Inside the first 60 seconds here today off the back of a bomb caught by Zach Lomax. He could have been playing for the Sydney Swans or any AFL team with a catch that he made and brought it down, found Dufty flying onto it. Hunt from dummy half. Mooney coming across, will keep this in play, looks up, Norman down there leading the chase. And the game has settled into a back and forth, isn't it? Just forcing backs at the moment. Crichton here, 10 out from his own line, will play it for Lachlan Lewis. And they've had some chances, the Dragons rather, inside the Bulldogs 20 in the second half, yet the trouble, the scoreboard. Napa bringing it forward here, will play it just outside the 30.
Just that energy with their scramble on goal, on their goal line, the Bulldogs have done so well. I'd love to see them chance their hand a little bit more. When they're coming off their own line, they look good when they move the ball around a little bit. The Dragons just seem to need that one try to get themselves right back in it, giving that little bit of boost of energy that they need. He's got to get Vaughan back out there. The coach, McGregor, somehow, he's the man with the leg speed that can upset the Bulldogs in the middle of the third.
A little bit too far away from him being back out there midway through this second half. Norman doing some stepping. He'll find some space there. Eventually wrapped up by Sue. He'll play it inside the Bulldogs 20. Then Ben Hunt was off before he picked it up. Sue picks it up. It's play on. And there's nobody in front of him. He's looking around for support. Duffy was on his hammer very quickly. But everybody stopped thinking there was going to be a call of knock on. The referee said play on. And Sue said, well, why not? I'll have a gallop.
He's only been on a couple of minutes. He's already run for 40 metres. How good is it?
Big carry right there. Has them on the attack. Faitala Mara just outside the Dragons 20. Katoa finds Lewis. Comes to Jesse Sue, who will play it here on top of the 10. Crunching tackle. You can hear that hit. Sims. Now Lewis finds Meany. Tyler Mariner, one of the 3 try scorers in the first half. Swung the ground here in the tackle of Norman. Comes back to Lewis. Shows it. Caught at the back end of the set here and takes a kicking option away from them on the last play. Katoa looks up. Marshall King it is. Who will chip it towards the corner instead. Out forward 10 is a Lesniak. Taken down eventually there by... Kieran Holland. It was Kieran Holland who made the catch.
They need to come away something a little bit better than that. It's the first time they've ventured down this end of the field. The Bulldogs, the ball went off the side of the boot that time. Easily cleaned up 10 metres out from their own line by the Dragons.
Let go, Ray.
They certainly weren't helped out there by Michael Lewis getting caught on the play before the last. Downstairs to Megan once again for more news. Megan, now a mistake. And in fact, a penalty against the Dragons for Cam McInnes playing the ball incorrectly, not back to his feet when he planted it on the ground. Paul McGregor can't believe it. We'll get that news from Megan in a second here. Just watch this again. He was barely on his feet. Was he held down too long? Or was he unable to play it correctly? The referee thought it was the latter.
Yeah, it could have gone either way that time. Your luck goes your way. As I said, it's been the Bulldogs that really struggle to get up the other end of the field. Looks like they'll be first to score after the incorrect play the ball. in this second half.
Yeah, try and take the 2 here to make it a 12-point lead. Down to you, Megan.
Yeah, we're still waiting to see what's going on with that man, Kieran Foran. He hasn't moved since the beginning of this second half. He's got the jacket on. He hasn't got up and about. So, look, I just spoke to the team. There's no reason why he shouldn't be back out there. They're telling me it's just up to the coach to give him the green light. So we'll sit tight, we'll wait and see. But he's past that HIA, and I'm told that that toe isn't causing him any dramas. So we'll just wait and see what Steve Georgalis does.
At the moment, with potentially a 12-point lead right here, he might just sit back and think, need Kieran Foran for a lot of weeks to come just yet, with no buys, no breaks. Leaning. Right down Main Street, kicks it over the black dot, and the Bulldogs are the first to score in this second half. They lead 22 points to 10. With 24 minutes remaining here in the gong.
Yeah, that was a good play there too, to get the football back after the poor play the ball there by McGuinness. A kick for goal. Saints, I just wonder how much wind that'll take out of their sails. They started the second half pretty well, but haven't been able to put any points on the board. It must be frustrating for them. The Bulldogs now, let's see how they respond after they've scored points. Every time they've scored points here this afternoon, got that little bit of a buzz, a little bit of extra energy. This set will tell us here.
Deep kickoff taken by Marshall King. Now bring it back through off of Hickey Ogden, who is out there now to make the sun disappear. He's so big. Dylan Napa, he's not much smaller. They've got some size in that middle of the field, don't they, at the moment, the Bulldogs. Sue. Work it forward. Plays it just inside the 30. Comes across to Jackson. Ogden did well to get his hands out of the way of that pass. Great run by Josh Jackson. Nakatoa finds Lewis on the front foot, kicking from outside the 40. Will roll down here to Matt Dufty. They'll try and take on Crichton. Montoya got him just by the coattails. Otherwise, Duffy probably goes a long way there to be one-on-one with Meany.
Yeah, he would have got excited too, looking up and seeing that half break there. Good kick return there from Dufty.
What have they got? The home side here. Back at Wollongong. The second time this season they've been here. And a long time between drinks as well as Sims. Backs his way down to play it here just outside the 30. Clune. Fine Paul Vaughan. Runs towards Katoa. Strong tackle there. Happy there wasn't a dangerous throw. Jackson had Vaughan cuddled him to the ground. Chip in behind them. Meany with the catch. Will bring it back and pick up some metres as well. Takes on Clune. Takes a real chance and gives away the ball. The Dragons have it through Vaughan and come right back at them. What a mistake by Meany. Here is Hunt from dummy half. Norman showing it, taking them on. They catch out the big men in the middle of the field. Zero tackle right there. Hunt, he finds Dufty. Cut out ball, it goes to Lomax. It's a right foot step on Montoya. Lewis, though, working hard from the inside, really crunched him. They've got a full set, though, inside the 10. It's Hunt, floating sideways, gets away from Ogden. Stays composed. Hands it off. It comes back to Jackson Ford. And just takes the metres available and will play it here with inside of the goalposts. Hunt waiting. Goes through McInnes. Across to Clune. Aiken back on the angle. Well handled though. Great tackle by Marshall King. Here's Clune again. Floating to look to link with Dufty. Tries to get away from Montoya. Does exactly that. Stays alive. Crichton parried at it. And it will be a knock-on, will it, against Christian Crichton, who played at the ball and knocked it forward to his advantage.
Wow, I don't know what you could do other than that. And knock the football forward like that. He's got speed. He jumps on the outside. Now, Lachlan Lewis has made a couple of telling tackles in that set and the one before.
Bulldogs are challenging.
You mentioned it was how he closed the gate. Just kept the live back on the inside. Captain's challenge here for Harvey Norman.
See what the bunker makes of this. Playing deliberately at the ball.
I don't know if it's deliberate.
He goes forward. Well, he's trying to stop the pass, so...
I thought his hand come in contact with the ball as he was making the tackle.
The Bulldogs play at the ball. It is regathered. There's no breach by the Bulldogs. The challenge is successful.
So you're going to say he didn't deliberately knock the ball forward. It was just in the act of playing at the ball. It's a fine line.
No, you're right.
Thank you.
It's gone. Everything
20 by
seems
20.
to be going the Bulldogs' way here.
20 by 20.
About time they had a little bit of luck.
And Dragons will be saying we can't get any here today.
Over there.
Behind 6-1 in the penalty count, the Dragons.
See, that first 20 minutes of the second half has flown by.
Wait.
They're up against it, aren't they? But still with plenty of time to play here. A quarter of the game remaining. And Ogden, off the back of the Harvey Norman Captain's Challenge, going the way of the Bulldogs. Here's Sue. Working it up to be stopped there by Ford, Hunt, and others. Now Marshall King, Jackson pass, takes it inside the 40. Now one more play here. Katoa says, who wants it? Lewis puts his hand up and puts it in the air. Awkward one here for Dufty. Goes up above them. Was he tackled in midair? Yes, he was by Kerrod Holland. They get this, their second penalty of the game here. They'll take some free metres off the back of it, but no doubt about the call. He was up there. In fact, it was Delawateni-Zalesniak who just got a little piece of the Dragons fullback. Don't forget, Bunnies and Knights, they are up next. That game coming from Bankwest Stadium, second of 3 tonight on Bundy Run. Super Saturday, the Eels up against the Seagulls, and they have bounced back in recent weeks. The Knights going down last week to the Eels. A big win the week before, though. We'll keep the wins coming. Can Kalen Ponga find a bit of form? Quiet in recent times, and everybody having their thoughts on as to why he's been kept out of games. Kicking tactics of opposition. That's up next. For the moment, it's Hunt out of dummy half. Comes to Dufty. Here is Clune. Short ball there for Sims, who gets away from Marshall King. Back to the middle. Oh, runs into Ogden. He can make the sun disappear. He can make Tarek disappear. What a hit. It comes to Ford. He takes them on. Tries to reach out.
And that's Lewis again with a tackle. The legs tackle close to the line. I know he got a little bit of assistance, but Lachlan Lewis's defence has been outstanding here in the second half. He's also done a good job too. Marshall King moving the 5'8" for Foran.
Here's Ogden, just lending all his weight into that tackle. And then Ford off the back of it, got away from Faitala Mara. Bull Terrier, the Bulldog himself, Lachlan Lewis. There with a try-saving tackle around the legs. And now Montoya has an issue after this tackle. Look and see what happened here. Just feels the side off his head. He's fallen slightly awkwardly there, and
he's copped
Ravalawa around the legs, and then he spun. And Corey Norman coming across here, he fell into his shoulder.
Yeah, accidental on the way down. He'll be okay by the look of it.
Thanks, mate.
I mean, this is a tough run after a stoppage in play.
Tackle 3.
And the defensive line can get set. It's a gutsy run, this one. Does it well.
Ogden the player. Still Aiden Tolman.
Last tackle,
first
Ben,
stint in the early exchanges. For Katoa as Lewis gets the kick away. Deep one once again. Dufty to make the catch at his own 10. To Lomax, and Lomax said go back to the middle. Instead, he comes back out here to the sideline, and Norman at dummy half will find Lomax on the next carry. Just over 17 remaining. The Dragons trying to find something, keep their momentum going in this middle part of the season. Came into the game with a 3-6 record. They win for the 4th time. It'll be just maybe the one win outside the top 8, but they are odds against at the moment with the Bulldogs doing things beautifully, especially defensively in this second half as Vaughan works it back towards Ogden. They'll play it there. Last play, and in fact, coming forward, Tyrell Tuimaono didn't realise he was going to be a decoy, and the Dragons turn it over.
Gee, they've done that a lot in this game, haven't they? Turned the football over in good field position now for the Bulldogs, up over the halfway line, play 1. Here they come, the Dogs. They'll be full steam ahead right now. Watch this set.
I think it's fair to say that's a very Dragons play, isn't it? They can turn the ball over in some incredible fashions at times, and that was up there with the best of them in 2020. Jackson going backwards here. Tolman just working up here towards McInnes. Is it too early for a one-pointer potentially? 30 metres out at the moment. Lewis here. It's a forward to take a carry. In fact, he finds Meany. It takes them on. 20 metres out.
I reckon I'd be sending the message out. Keep playing to the Dogs. Just keep pouring through the middle.
Lewis chips it. Some pressure here on Saab, who goes to the air, comes down there pretty comfortably. They've got the Dragons held, though, inside their own 10.
The Englishman was back off his seat then. Luke Thompson looks like he wants back out there. He's had a good game for his second game in the NRL. His team's in front quite comfortably at the moment, 22-10.
100 metres for the game, Luke Thompson. Now Clune across the top to Aikens. Room to move. Tracking back with him. Marshall King was there with Holland. Play 5 now for St George Illawarra. Clune puts it high in the air. Comes towards Meany. He says, "You catch it!" Nobody wanted it. Crichton puts it down. Saab comes up with it. And that's how the Dragons get themselves back into the contest.
Well, what about that for a bomb? That was sensational. Everyone was just looking at each other. Who's going to take that? The lights have come on down here in Wollongong. And Saab won't get an easier one than that. The ball bounced straight in his arms.
We have Jason Saab offside, but we believe the ball has travelled 10 metres.
Oh, they got Saab offside.
So in front of the kick, when it goes up, boy, it's tight, but fractionally, potentially.
Kick chase of the Dragons is cleared as onside. There's players offside, including Jason Saab on the left.
Gee, that's a pretty tough call. I think he's far offside there, was. What a bomb.
On that shot from high on the grandstand. Crichton coming forward. Thought that Meany was going to make the catch.
The ball's gone 10 metres, therefore Jason Saab is back onside. He grounds the ball in the end goal. We have a decision.
Gee, you'd be able to take that off him.
The Bulldogs have been so good in the 10th minute of the game onwards. What a bizarre way to concede another try here, which gives the Dragons a sniff.
Well, it was bizarre in the fact that no one really wanted to take the ball. Went up, Crichton had to come from the left wing. He had to cover about 15 metres to get across there. Here he is. He's there. Everyone's looking at it. He yells out mine. Saab right on the spot. We talk about the bounce of the ball. The Saints, they get over the stripe. Still plenty of time left.
He's a try scorer. We've seen that. His limited appearances in the NRL. 4 tries now in 6 games for Jason Saab, who is being overlooked. The recommencement of the competition off the back of the lockdown period. Making rumours that he wanted out of the club, try and get a permanent first-grade spot somewhere else. But for the moment, he grabs a try that gives them a chance here, back within 6, and still with a stack of time left in this game.
The size of him. He's 6'5", would he? A monster.
He is 200 centimetres, and he's a tick over 100 kilograms as well. 105 kilograms, in fact, and 200 centimetres.
Good man. And still got the baby face. Look at him. Take a photo.
He can run, catch, and score tries. And Vaughan it is. After being fairly quiet for a long period The local fans a bit to cheer about here as Ravalawa brings it forward. 22 plays 16, and now Frizzell with a carry through the middle. Jackson Ford, strong run, but he puts it down, and the tackle there of Ogden. Another mistake by the Dragons.
What about the
end of the field?
What about the hands of Napa to pick that ball up on off the ground? Great stuff.
So if they weren't thinking field goal and they led by 12, now the lead is only 6. Are they setting for a one-pointer right here? Lachlan Lewis has kicked just the one field goal in his NRL career, albeit just today in game number 30 as Meaney turns Holland back on the inside. That's tackle number 3, Lewis. Surely wants a carry back towards the uprights. Napa will play it. They're not thinking about the one as Marshall King goes to Lewis. Cut out ball, Crichton with a chance to make amends. He's cut down a metre out. Montoya from dummy half. It'll come back here. Lewis, a chip across the face. Saab is there once again, and they don't outleap him once again. He brings it down. They ignore the chance for the field goal blocking.
I love how casual Lewis is too, just to that crossfield kick. They ran away from that opportunity. They should have stuck in the middle third there. They chose to spread the ball on the left-hand side. Crichton unlucky not to score. And Lewis to finish off that set.
It was even money to get there, Crichton. When the ball came to him, they did well getting across and cover to shut him down. No, Vaughan. On the last here, Norman with the kick. Meaney on the full will bring it back. Good result for the Bulldogs right there to begin this set from just inside their own 40. Trying to make it 2 wins from 2 appearances against the Dragons in 2020. Next 5 games, the Knights up next for the Bulldogs, and the Eels, the Storm, Tigers, and the Warriors. Their minds are firmly locked on what's happening right here. Thompson, strong carry once again. That was the 4th. Here's Tolman. Goes wider still through the hands of Jackson. Meaney showing it. A fend on Clune, who stays with him and drags him down 10 metres out. Good effort by the halfback. Holland from dummy half. Comes to Lewis. Will chip it once again into the in-goal area. Taken on the full by Norman. And the Dragons will get 7 tackles.
Gee, he had an ample time to plan himself for a field goal then that time. Lachlan Lewis. It'll be a penalty for a high tackle. The same man making that tackle. And Ravalawa. Okay. Easy way to get out of your half. That's early in the tackle count. They get the penalty. They're up over the halfway line now. What do you got, Saints? Come on.
In this shortened season, with only 3 wins to this point of it through 9 games, their ability to contend for a finals berth might well come down to what happens right here against the Bulldogs in the next 10 minutes and 9 seconds of game time. Hunt will play it. Comes back to the open side. Now Dufty for Norman. Grabbed there by Faitala Mariner. Played just outside the 10. They stack some numbers at the right-hand side. They go to the open side instead for McInnes. He's stopped by Tolman. Only 5 away. Hunt for Norman. Looking to his outside. Does some dancing once again. Grabbed there by Thompson. And also Nick Meaney. One more play. Clune is deep. He'll kick it out towards Jason Saab, the obvious target. Makes the catch. Fires it back to Fuimayano. Back to Clune now. He comes to Dufty. What a threat. And a restart he is. Comes back to Lomax. Flick out the back. Ravalawa couldn't catch it. They produced a try like that against Manly last week. This one fires into the crowd, though.
Yeah, he just wasn't deep enough, too. He didn't expect Lomax to flick the ball out the back. There again, Dufty with the speed on the outside. Just right on his hammer there. The idea was right.
Let's go.
The pass just a little bit too hard from Lomax.
Faitala Mariner was there anyway to potentially make a tackle should he needed to on Ravalawa. Rabbitohs and the Knights They are up next as the Bulldogs work it away inside the South Sydney dressing room. Dane Gagai has been in some try-scoring form in recent times as well. Damien Cook, the live wire dummy half, not too far away from going out for a warm-up. They get ready to take on the Knights. That's next on Bundy Rum Super Saturday. Here is Tolman playing it. Comes through Jackson, away to Kerrod Holland, who'll play it here at the 40. Last tackle for the Dogs. Lewis at close hand. Puts it up. Wobbly old kick, not an easy one for Dufty coming forward. That's a super catch. What a take by the fullback.
Well, it looked like it dropped on him, didn't it, Was? Had to take up another couple of extra yards to catch that ball as it swooped down. Look at it just drop on him. Well done there by Dufty at the back.
He just had to come up with it, and he did. Marvellous take. Now Laurie. Play it here just short of the 30. Just over 7.5 remaining. Norman will go out to link up here with Clune, who's into space. Finds some gaps. Here is Dufty. Looms up on the outside. Dufty is there and he'll score. Gets his second of the afternoon and a kick to come to level it for the Dragons.
He's starting to look comfortable in the first grade, isn't he? Adam Clune digs into the line. It's a great play, the show on the go. Gets on the outside there of Thompson, and you can see it straight away. Dufty looming up on the outside. As soon as he got in the footy, it was always going to be a try. Meany for the Dogs did his best to make the tackle, but this bloke's a speedster. What a finish we got here. And Clune, starting to look comfortable in first grade, decides to run the footy. And once Dufty got the footy, she was all over. It's game on now, 22-20 with the kick to come.
The local junior, who was 10 years in the making for the Dragons, Adam Clune, just cuts them open, links up with Matt Dufty. He grabs his 8th try for the season. What a burst of form he's in since once again taking over the fullback role as they juggled it earlier in the season. Lomax had a crack. Norman had a crack. Paul McGregor put his faith back in Matt Dufty. And he has repaid him and then some. Over the last 5 weeks, Lomax with a big kick. Has struck them beautiful in 2020. There's an enormous boot on him. What a big one this is. Breeze over his right shoulder, makes no mistake with it. Terrific strike once again. And it's 22 plays, 22 here in Wollongong.
Well, how good is it to see this bloke in full flight? This was the start of the game, the back on the inside. Here's his second try. As I said, once he gets the football, this bloke, Matt Dufty, he can score. Just got a great sense of when to explode and when to support. That's how his 2 tries have come. What a wonderful player.
Really coming into his own as Steve Georgialis looks on. Adam Clune, by the week, looking more comfortable in the 7 role for that man, Paul McGregor.
We were talking about the field goal a little bit earlier too, was when they were camped down there on the Dragons line. They opted not to. I wonder what the Dragons will do if they get up the other end. Whether they'll take their time to pop one over.
They're regretting the Bulldogs not taking a chance when they had some. Now Hunt from inside the 40. Not the angle on the kick he was looking for. It's a great kick though. Meany going back will come up with it on his own goal line. Lomax coming forward, makes the tackle. Frizzell was there, throwing himself at the action as well. And all the pressure now on the Bulldogs to work it away. And still most of the team trailing down the field, trying to get themselves back behind the ball. Montoya with the carry. 3 tackles gone though, still inside their own 20. Lieutenant Zalesniak weaving, going sideways, nothing doing for him. Play 5 here to Munga, an important carry. Take a 15 short of the halfway line. Lewis needs a big kick. He kicks from inside the 40, charge down, a Falcon. My goodness, what a contact.
It's hit him in the
Cameron
face.
McInnes might have loosened a few more of those teeth. that he has all sorts of issues with, not played at, and that will be the changeover. The Dragons will have it at the 20.
That was kicked with some sort of force too. Oh!
I've seen players knocked out of games with contact like that. He hit it for all he was worth, Lachlan Lewis. McInnes dazed on the ground there. Has been given the all clear to stay on the field. One of the biggest Falcons we've seen for a long time in the NRL. Now the Dragons thinking about the one-pointer. Corey Norman, we know he's a specialist. It's Josh Kerr, who played a couple of metres out. Hunt comes across through the hands there of Laurie. Comes through Clune, they keep it going. Fui Mayono, they'll play it here. 5 metres out, 3 plays gone. Laurie got a crash back towards the line. They might be too close now. There's Hunt on play number 5. Comes here to McInnes. Now Norman kicking towards the corner. Out for Ravalawa. Crichton flew for it, but he left the ground from the field of play. They forced a goal line dropout.
No, that's great play too. I think we take it for granted how great these kickers are for cross field. This time it was Norman. He double pumped like he was going to throw the ball over the top and then put the boot to ball. Great chase again from the Dragons. They'll get a chance. I wonder if they will work to the middle of the field. Only 2 minutes and 50 to go. And this is the time. I wonder if they'll wait to the last. Just go straight to the middle third of the field. Here they go.
Corey Norman has kicked 3 field goals in his career. Won a couple of games back-to-back weeks last year with field goals as Saab brings it back inside the 40. It's Laurie just bustling his way forward. 2 plays gone. And now Kerr.
Great
That's
position
exactly
there.
what he had to do. Punches it in towards the uprights.
Here
Hunt
they
from
go.
dummy half. It comes back to Corey Norman. Calm, cool, and collected. He misses to the left-hand side.
Gee, he had plenty of time. If I tell a Mariner it was that chased him down, the left footer. Look at the chase come, and the ball just spews out to the left.
Last year in round 3, he beat the Broncos 25-24. The week after, he did it to the Newcastle Knights 13-12 up there in Newcastle. Today, he misses with the first attempt. Are we headed for golden points?
Don't you love the enthusiasm now? The game's been going for a long period of time, only a minute to go. And look at the speed of the line and the toughness of the doggies taking the ball forward.
There's Lewis coming wide. Montoya puts it down. Norman has it. Nobody in front of him. He'll win it with a try. An unbelievable finish here in Wollongong. The Dragons celebrates. They've come from behind. 12 points behind to swamp the Bulldogs and beat them.
Yeah, Montoya is who comes away with the knock-on. They're trying to shift the ball to their left-hand side. As we said, there was some brutal defence there to finish the game from the Saints. There's that tackle there, 3 in the tackle. They force the error here. They try to shift it to their left. Lewis it is with the cutout ball. Montoya can't take it. And right on the spot, Corey Norman sprints away after missing the field goal. Only seconds away. He gets the Saints home.
Boy, what a cruel, cruel ending for Marcelo Montoya and the Bulldogs. But you make your own luck. And when it comes to luck, Corey Norman has always had more than his fair share, hasn't he? He applauds. So do his teammates. And they've won for the 4th time this season. You can only feel from Marcelo Montoya. They take a chance with a shift from inside their own end. And Norman comes up with the loose ball and runs away. Nobody at home in front of him as the Bulldogs rolled the dice. An unbelievable ending. After 65 minutes, the Bulldogs led 22 points to 10, and they were cruising. Kieran Foran watching on from the sideline after being concussed just before half-time.
Yes.
Zach Lomax converts, and the siren sounds to end one of the most remarkable games we will see in 2020. Steve Georgalis can't produce the magic in game one, having taken over from Dean Pay at full time. The Dragons, yes, the Dragons have beaten the Bulldogs 28 points to 22.